Hey guys, it's Team for Team Black Hole here with a new video. The team attended YCS Milan and we had a blast playing and watching all of the amazing games at the event. YCS Milan ended last Sunday and with its conclusion, the event brought us a new winner with a totally new deck. That deck being Prank-Kids. Many of us were really surprised by the result, but in a very positive way, since the Prank-Kids strategy wasn't a popular one till the end of the event. Because of this, a lot of players started picking up the deck, not really knowing what it does, in which situation the deck shines, and in which situations the deck fails. So I thought I'd bring you guys a new series to the channel called An Introduction To, in which we will dive deep into a specific deck and try to explain how the deck works to you guys. This episode is being dedicated to Prank-Kids. This video will be broken down into main deck monster spells and traps, then the extra deck lineup, and then we'll cover a basic build of the deck with some good tech choices, and in the end we'll go through which cards counter the deck. Let's start with the main Prank-Kids monsters. All of them share a similar effect, so we'll go over it first. When sent to the graveyard as material for the fusion or link summon of a Prank-Kids monster, you can summon a Prank-Kids monster from your hand or deck in defense position, except the same named one. Besides that effect, each one has a bonus effect, which we'll go through now. Prank-Kids Fancies is a level 1 Thunder type monster, and when used for a link or fusion summon of a Prank-Kids monster, you can send one Prank-Kids card to the graveyard. On first hand, it doesn't seem much, but as we go on through the deck, you will see all of the implications of this card. Prank-Kids Dropsies is a level 2 Aqua type monster, and when used for a link or fusion summon, you gain 1000 life points, and you can only use the effect of Prank-Kids Dropsies once per turn. It's a very cool effect, especially going into time, when you can create a very nice life point difference, which can win you the match. Prank-Kids Lampsies is a level 3 Pyro type monster, and when used for a link or a fusion summon of a Prank-Kids monster, your opponent takes 500 damage. Similar to the previous monster, this one can also create a very nice life point difference, especially in time. Combined together, you can create 1500 life points difference, which is quite a lot. The newest member of the Prank-Kids family is Prank-Kids Roxys. He's a level 4 Rock type monster, and when used for a link or fusion summon of a Prank-Kids monster, you can banish one card from your hand, and if you do, draw one card. Prank-Kids Roxys is a very nice addition to the deck. Having more consistency is always nice, especially with the build that I'm gonna show you later. With the main deck monsters complete, we can move to the spell cards. Prank-Kids Place is a field spell, which on activation searches a Prank-Kids monster from your deck to your hand. In addition, if you summon a Prank-Kids fusion monster, except during the damage step, you can have all monsters you control gain 500 attack, even if this card leaves the field. Once per turn, if you summon a Prank-Kids link monster, except during the damage step, you can have all monsters your opponent control lose 500 attack, even if this card leaves the field. You can only activate one Prank-Kids Place once per turn. The searching effect is really good. I mean, every card that searches something from your deck to your hand is essentially really good. And while the attack modifier is nice, you will mainly use it to chain block your opponent. Prank-Kids Prank is a continuous spell card with a very cool effect that lets you unbreak your hand most of the time. You can discard one Prank-Kids card, special summon one Prank-Kids token, fire attribute, attack 0, defense 0, but it cannot be tributed. During the end phase, you can target 3 Prank-Kids cards in your graveyard, except Prank-Kids Prank, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw one card. You can only use each effect of Prank-Kids Prank once per turn. The token generating effect is really nice, since it can help you unbreak hand, and the recycling ability is also very good. Prank-Kids Pandemonium is a quick play spell card and is one of the most important cards in the deck. During the main phase, fusion summon one Prank-Kids fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters in your hand or field as material. For the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot normal summon or special summon monsters except Prank-Kids monsters. Being able to fusion summon during your opponent's turn is crucial for the deck. Although there is the restriction on the card, it's not really that important, since almost your entire deck and extra deck is dedicated to Prank-Kids monsters. Before jumping into the extra deck, we have to take a look at their trap card. Prank-Kids Plan is a continuous trap which lets you immediately after resolving, link summon one Prank-Kids link monster using Prank-Kids monsters you control as material. It also has a graveyard effect. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Shuffle any number of Prank-Kids cards from your graveyard into the deck, and if you do, the attacking monster loses 100 attack for each card shuffled until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Pranket's Plan once per turn. The first effect doesn't come up that much, since it is a trap card and is kinda slow, and you would rather use it for the second effect, which makes it a lot better, since you can recycle your whole graveyard into the deck, which can come really crucial in the late game. With the main deck complete, let's jump into the extra deck, starting with fusions. Pranket's Rocket Ride is a level 5 Pyrotap fusion monster and takes 2 Pranket's monsters as material. If it's fusion summoned, you can have it lose 1000 attack, but it can attack directly. This effect is not that relevant, though it can steal some games. You can tribute this card and target 2 Pranket's non-fusion monsters with different names in your graveyard. Special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. You can only use each effect of Pranket's Rocket Ride once per turn. The second effect is the most important effect, since you can revive your Link monsters. Also, the restriction is not that important, since you will use your revived monsters for something else usually. Pranket's Weather Washer is a level 5 Aqua type monster and takes 2 Pranket's monsters as material. If your Pranket's monster attack, your opponent cannot activate card effects until the end of the damage step. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 2 Pranket's non-fusion monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them, they cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. You can only use this effect of Pranket's Weather Washer once per turn. This card is an auto win against Thunder Dragons since they cannot activate their effects and they cannot protect themselves. Tagging out during your opponent's turn is fantastic, especially if you consider the boss Link monster as a target. The fusion boss monster of the deck is Pranket's Battle Butler. He's a level 10 Thunder type monster and requires Pranket's Lampsies, Dropsies and Fancies as material. Must be fusion summoned. Quick effect. You can tribute this card, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can target 1 non-fusion Pranket's monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Pranket's Battle Butler once per turn. So, having a 3000 bit stick with a quick play Raigeki that floats if it's destroyed is insanely good. Also, it tributes for cost, which means he's immune to things such as Ghost Ogre. Now for the Link monsters. Similar to the fusions, we have 2 small ones and 1 big boss. Pranket's Doo-Doo Doodle Doo is a Link to Thunder monster and takes 2 Pranket's monsters as material. If this card is Link summoned, you can add 1 Pranket spell / trap from your deck to your hand. You can tribute this card and target 2 Pranket's cards in your graveyard with different names except Link monsters, add them to your hand. You can only use each effect of Pranket's Doo-Doo Doodle Doo once per turn. This is a very important piece of the deck and you want it to always go through, since it can search your quick play fusion spell. Pranket's Bow Wow Bark is a Link 2 and takes 2 Pranket's monsters as material. Pranket's monsters, this card points to gain 1000 attack. During your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can tribute this card, then target 2 Pranket's cards with different names in your graveyard except Link monsters. Add them to your hand. Also, Pranket's monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. You can only use this effect of Pranket's Bow Wow Bark once per turn. Having access to important deck pieces and materials is very important, especially if you want to do some major disruption during your opponent's turn. The last monster of the extra deck is Pranket's Rip-Roaring Roaster. It's a Link 4 and takes 2+ Pranket's monsters as materials, and it has the following effect. Must be Link summoned. Quick effect. You can tribute this card, destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can target 1 card in your graveyard except a Link monster, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of Pranket's Rip-Roaring Roaster once per turn. Having a quick play Harpy's Feather Duster can do a lot of damage, especially if you're playing against a heavy back row deck. With that part done, I'm going to show you a basic build of the deck and explain some of my choices. Every main deck Pranket's monsters is a 3-of. You need them for the combos and you want to open at least 2 Pranket's monsters every time. Then we got our hand traps. I chose Ash Blossom and Defect Veiler, but you can change them to whatever you want. I'm also playing every Pranket spell at 3. The ability to search with place and chain block your opponent is very important, especially when doing your combos. Pandemonium lets you go into your big guys during the opponent's turn, and Pranks lets you unbrick. We also run Terraforming to search the field spell, 3 Called by the Grave so we can't get ashed, I'm also playing 3 Pot of Desires, which is really good in this deck. If you don't want to resolve it, you can simply just banish it with the effect of Roxy's. 3 Polymerization is a must, since the small fusions are your combo starters. You want to see this card as much as possible. To round off the main deck, I'm playing 2 Prankits Plan. For the extra deck, we have 3 Prankits Rocket Ride, 2 Prankits Weather Washer, 1 Prankits Battle Butler, 3 Doodoo Doodle Doo, 2 Bow Wow Bark, and to round off the Prankits monsters, we have Rip-Roaring Roaster. Then, for non-Prankits monsters, we have Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus, both of which are really good removal for problematic cards. And the last one is Borderlord Dragon, which you can change to Borderlord Sword if you have it. Since opening Polymerization is vital, you can play 2 to 3 copies of Invocation, since it does the same thing as Polymerization. You can also play Fusion Recycling Plant, but be careful because it can get ashed. In the extra deck, you can play 1 Totally Awesome, since Prankit Dropsies is a level 2 Aqua type and you can make it really easily. The best way to go is to hit the graveyard, since all of the effects trigger in it. One of the best counters that everyone is playing right now is Called by the Grave. Prankits have tribute for cost effects, which means your opponent can just chain Called by the Grave and negate the effect. Another card was just recently reprinted in the new OTS pack, and that card is Silent Graveyard. Silent Graveyard says that you can discard 1 card and negate all effects that trigger in the graveyard for the entire turn. This is really good since none of your Prankits cards can trigger. Diddy Crow and Ghost Bell are also really good cards that counter their deck really easily. And we mustn't forget the Dimensional Barrier. I think we all know what that card does. These were just a couple of cards that can completely stop the Prankit strategy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, hit like and subscribe, and if you hit a good amount of likes, I will release a Prankits combo guide. This was Tim from Team Black Hole. Peace out.